Star Wars Episode 7, Shadows of the Past. Chapter 4, False Flight. Inside the communications chamber of the VII Temple, tension hums louder than the equipment itself. In the center of the room, a flickering blue hologram burns. The worn but unmistakable figure of Han Solo projected above the circular console. Directly before him stands Luke Skywalker, calm but taut. Watching from the perimeter, Mara Jade, Ahsoka Tano, and Master Naro Solar stand in grim silence.
I left him in your care, Luke. I trusted you. How could you not notice he slipped onto that ship?
Han, listen to me.
No, you'll listen. My son is dead because you weren't watching him.
Han, please. None of us were expecting the attack. Half the temple's still being rebuilt. We've been pulling survivors from the rubble since dawn.
General Solo, we're all grieving.
Don't talk to me about grief, Ahsoka. I buried his mother. Now I have to bury him too?
Luke takes a breath, the faintest tremor beneath his composure.
If Ben were gone, I feel it in the Force. He's alive, Han. I know he is.
The only survivors of the attack on the landing pad were the criminals. The daughter of Palpatine, Luke.
Then I'll go to Coruscant myself. I'll investigate personally.
Oh, now you'll go. If you'd been this invested from the start, maybe we wouldn't be here.
The projection fades, leaving only silence and the dim pulse of the console.
You shouldn't go, Master Skywalker. The boy was my apprentice. My responsibility.
Weren't you the one who ordered those transfers to Otto? You should already have your hands full with that. I'll take care of this.
Naro's eyes narrow, a flicker of something unreadable behind his calm. Mara Jade steps closer.
Then I'll go with you. I can't let you face your grieving best friend alone.
I love you, but I have to do this alone. You and Ahsoka stay. The temple needs stability right now. I can handle this.
Mara's jaw tightens, but she nods. Luke turns. The doors hiss open, and cold night air rushes in. Moments later, the Jedi Grand Master's X-Wing lifts off from the temple hangar bay, its engines cutting a silver path through the clouds. Behind him, the Order watches in silence. The chaos of the night has passed. Now the Undercity lies in uneasy quiet, broken only by the groan of machinery and the hiss of leaking steam. In the rusted skeleton of a forgotten maintenance depot behind the cantina, Rey's group has made camp. They spent the night tending wounds and catching what little rest they could. Finn sits near the door, keeping watch, while Ben and Rey sit apart, silent, each lost in their own thoughts. Suddenly, Ben turns, breaking the silence.
Back when we first fought, in the archives, you said I wouldn't understand what you were doing. Why did you attack the temple?
Before the Old Republic transitioned into the Empire, Jedi trainees who didn't have enough of an affinity in the Force for active combat were sent to farms. They knew how to use the Force to grow food in places that were otherwise inhospitable. Remnant space is fractured in two. The Hutts heavily tax all of our trade, and so the upper echelon of the remaining Imperial government hoard everything to themselves and their soldiers, while the people below starve. I had to do something. Save my people, and your archives held the means to doing that.
So you hijacked a Corvette, crashed it into the side of our temple, and murdered my brothers and sisters?
Hearing the anger in Ben's voice, Finn slowly places his hand on the hilt of his vibroblade.
If you'd have just come to us and told us what you just told me, we would have shared the techniques willingly.
Are you really so sure, Jedi? You want to know how one of your masters reacted when he discovered my lineage? Wanted to execute me on the spot. You lot should add hypocrisy as an official tenet of your religious dogma. I couldn't risk it. There's just too much at stake.
Ben's tone almost shifts to one of shame and disbelief as he lowers his head and reluctantly answers.
In spite of everything, my uncle would have still helped you. I know he would have.
That's your own opinion. And even now, I wouldn't be willing to gamble the lives of my people on it.
The room falls silent again, with all parties dwelling on the words that were just exchanged, even the ones who did not participate. Aksiba reappears from the adjoining room, rubbing his eyes, a smirk tugging his face.
If you lot are done lazing around in my hideout, I might actually have a suggestion about how we get to the ship. Preferably before someone decides to blow this whole level sky high trying to get to you.
Ooh, gather around, gang. It's time for some words of wisdom from Scruffy, our new fearless leader.
Why, you should be so lucky, mate. It's a limited time offer.
We're trusting a smuggler now?
From where I'm sitting, it doesn't seem like we have much of a choice.
See, the Jedi gets it.
I never said I trusted you.
That's smart. Keep that instinct.
We move quiet, no noise, no light. If this goes wrong, we vanish.
Oh, quiet, she says. Right, because that's been your style so far.
He's got you there.
A few smiles crack throughout the room as the tension lifts for a single solitary moment before the urgency of their situations comes crashing back down on everyone.
You done?
Yes, ma'am.
Siba kneels and projects a rough layout in hazy blue light. Service corridors, vent shafts, a docking ring half a district away.
Here's how this works. We don't take the main streets. Bounty hunters will be stacked shoulder to shoulder on the main lanes by now, waiting to cash in. We cut through the sub-access tunnels here, level 1313B. Maintenance only, half flooded, smells like coolant and vent things. You'll love it.
I have this plan sounding better by the second.
Then we go vertical. There's a lift shaft here that's off the grid. I've jammed the registry. We climb, not ride. Loud doors get notice, scuttering rats don't. That spits us out 2 levels below the main bay.
Gunmen waiting at the bay?
Obviously. I'd be disappointed if there weren't. But that's where your lovely group comes in.
Spell it out.
You four make a hole, keep 'em busy. I sprint to the freighter, warm her up, drop the ramp, we pile in, we lift off. Easy as pie.
Make a hole? That a professional term for walk straight into a firing line?
Hey, I didn't say it'd be pretty, but it's the cleanest shot you're gonna get. And unless one of you secretly got a private shuttle packed in your pocket, it's the only shot you're gonna get.
And once we get to your ship, you don't just leave us there and vanish into hyperspace?
Oh, Missy! How have I gone through life till now without your endless optimism? Just what kind of a man do you take me for?
A liar?
All right, yes, fine. Historically, I've leaned that direction. But you get me to my ship in one piece, and I'll get you off of Coruscant. Simple exchange of services. You protect me until liftoff, I'll get you clear of the Plymouth before every gutter rat in the lower levels cashes in on your hints.
Then we move.
They leave the safety of the hideout for the tunnels. A narrow artery of leaking coolant lines and steam-choked light. Every step echoes, every shadow could be a hunter. Twice they have to duck into crawl spaces to avoid passing patrols. Once, Finn has to silence a scout with a single clean strike before he can raise an alarm. Quiet, efficient, no drama. At last they reach the docking tier. Seba's freighter waits across the hangar floor, sleek, scarred, running lights cold, encircled by hired guns.
That's them. Cover me while I prime the engines. Keep 'em busy.
Spread out. Don't let anyone get behind us.
They surge forward as one, carving a path through the gunfire. Amana's heavy blaster pounds out cover fire while Jaren's baton crackles through the armor and sparks. Finn charges in close, his vibroblade flashing alongside Ray's spinning staff, every movement in sync. At the center, Ben's saber flares blue, each strike buying Seba the seconds he needs to reach the ship. And then, Betrayal drops like a pin needle.
Ah, right. About that ride I promised yous. Sorry, mates, but it's just good business. I get me ship back, clear me bounty, get a little extra for leading you here. And I'll get to live long enough to lose it all again in a game of Pazak.
Now you've got to be kidding me. Called it.
Everyone, take cover.
The hangar dissolves into chaos. This is no rescue. This is an execution. Morning light glints off the endless skyline of Coruscant as a lone X-wing descends toward a scarred landing platform. The air smells faintly of ozone and burnt durasteel, a reminder of yesterday's chaos. Luke Skywalker leaps down from the cockpit, his cloak rippling in the high winds. His faithful droid R2-D2 chirps at him from the ship. Waiting for him at the platform's edge stands Han Solo, weary, his face hard with anger and exhaustion. With Coruscant security on either side of him and his wife's protocol droid C-3PO standing in the back.
Took you long enough.
I came as soon as I could.
Oh, Master Luke, how wonderful it is to see you again. Might I say, the years have been very kind to you, sir.
Likewise, 3PO.
Han gestures sharply toward the blackened durasteel. Scorch marks streak the platform where the firefight raged, but something about the damage feels off.
This is where it happened. They were diverted here because of hull damage. When we arrived, the transport was burning. Bodies everywhere. No survivors.
These markings. Why is there so much blaster scarring if a fight took place between Shadow Guards and Jedi? And the coordinates. This wasn't the landing pad they were charted to use.
What difference does that make now? The ship's gone, Luke. My son's gone.
Luke kneels, brushing his palm across a scorched section of the durasteel. His eyes close. The air hums faintly with the resonance of the Force.
No, he's not gone. If Ben had died here, I'd feel it. There would be echoes in the Force. He's alive.
Then where the hell is he, Luke?
Knowing Ben, he probably went after the attackers himself.
The Shadow Guards? You think he chased them down alone?
Oh my! Poor young Master Ben.
He's impulsive. It's what he does. He probably thought he could stop them, bring them in, prove himself. But if that's true, he's in over his head.
Oh, why'd he have to inherit so much from us?
Because he's our family, and because deep down he believes he's doing what's right.
Yeah, that's the problem. Come on, 2 men can't search the whole Undercity by themselves. We'll use my resources, contacts, scanners, whatever it takes. We start from my office.
Then let's find him.
The 2 old friends disappear into the heart of Coruscant, their shared grief hardening into purpose. Somewhere beneath the endless towers, Ben So is alive and running out of time. The hangar bay explodes into chaos. Their way-off world sits on its landing struts ahead, a battered Lent freighter with scorched scabbed hull plates and a mismatched engine block. But the ramp is already sealed and the engines are spooling.
Jaren, stop that ship. I want it dead on the ground.
On it!
Jaren bolts slow along the edge of the freighter, clutching a rattling tool pack with one arm. He's fast for someone who is still half taped up from the night before. He drops to one knee under the aft thruster housing and rips open a maintenance panel, sparks already licking his hands.
Finn, Ben, with me, we hold the line.
Finn surges forward at her left, vibroblade in hand, a brutal, compact weapon that hums with contained fury. Ray's scavenged vibrostaff spins into a ready guard in her hands, controlled, efficient. And Ben? Ben doesn't wait. His blue blade whips forward like a thrown bolt of lightning, his stance wide, driving, aggressive. They meet the first wave head-on.
Keep them off Jaren.
At the edge of the bay, Amana has set herself behind a fallen cargo skid, braced, focused. Her heavy blaster kicks and roars in her grip, each shot slamming attackers into the deck. Her job is simple. Nobody touches Jaren.
Jaren, you're clear. Keep working. Almost there. Almost.
He's knelt under the freighter's primary thruster array, both arms jammed deep into the exposed wiring, ripping into the guts the way only a scavenger knows how.
Oh, come on, sweetheart. Just overheat for me.
The ship chokes and dies. The whole frame drops an inch and goes dead weight.
That's it. He is not going anywhere.
The mercs surge harder. One group breaks wide, slipping along the hangar's right wall, trying to flank them, and Amana whips her blaster in that direction. Then she hears it. The change in footsteps. Too close. 3 of them have slipped past cover. On her. Fast. They slam into her position and force her off the gun, into hand-to-hand range. She drops the blaster to avoid a blade through her side and brings an elbow up into a throat. Someone goes down coughing. Somebody else comes in from behind. Amana reacts, pivots, knees the new attacker in the gut, and wrenches his arm backward, till bone pops with a wet snap. But that opening costs her, because across the hangar, tucked high in the scaffolding, a sniper has been waiting for exactly that distraction. Jaren drops. The bolt took him in the shoulder, spinning him into the freighter's landing gear. He hits the deck hard, tool clattering loose.
Jaren!
The sound is nothing like her usual controlled calm. Everything in her rips loose at once. She snaps the wrist of the last merc in front of her with a vicious twist. Then, in the same motion, scoops her heavy blaster back off of the floor, drops to one knee, sights high. And the sniper in the rafters is gone. They don't get up.
Ben, Finn, drop them now!
With pleasure.
Fueled by Amana's fury, they tear through what's left. Finn drives his blade into the last merc on his side, rips it free, and doesn't bother to watch them fall. Then plants his boots in the chest of the last standing gunman, slams him backwards into a bulkhead and follows with a heavy downward strike that leaves his saber humming inches from the dying man's face. Silence hits the hangar like a dropped curtain. Only the groan of abused metal and the frantic pulse of damaged ship systems remains. Jaren's on one knee now, hand clamped over his shoulder, burned fabric wet under his palm.
Jaren, status.
The ship's not flying anywhere till somebody rewrites half a sublight manifold. So, I'd say, mission accomplished. Idiot.
Her voice shakes just a little, and she's already moving to him, already ripping open a med patch to seal the burn. She doesn't look at him while she works. She doesn't have to. That's when Ray turns. Her head snaps toward movement at the edge of the hangar, toward someone trying to slip down a stack of cargo crates. Ray reaches out through the force and yanks him to the ground, dragging him toward them.
Hey.
With a flick of her finger, Ray drags him across the ground and pins him to the floor at Ben's feet.
You...
Right. Okay now. Hold on. I know how this looks.
Ben stands over him, breathing hard, hair wild, face smeared with carbon and blood. The light of his saber paints Oxiba's jaw in blue. No jokes from Oxiba now, just wide eyes and shallow breath.
You're not weaseling your way out of this, traitor.
Who said anything about weaseling? Look, I was stepping out for some fresh air.
Flat on your stomach, crawling for the exit with your hands out in front of you?
Oh, see, now lie. That was just 'cause I was having this pain in me back.
Amana rushes in past Ben, pressing her heavy blaster against the temple of Siva's forehead as the coils begin to wind.
Wait, please, listen, I can still help you, I swear. Look.
Oxiva struggles to one elbow, hands fluttering like a supplicant.
My boss, me old employer, he's tied up with some very secretive people deep in the New Republic government. Anti-imperial, very influential. They've got credits and friends everywhere. Odds are, they're the ones who put the bounty on your heads.
So you betrayed us to them?
Ah, but I did a trace. Insurance, you see. When I called it in, I logged the comm node. I traced the packet, and look! I've got the source of the call, the location of the node, the place they pinged from.
And you expect that to buy you forgiveness?
No, I expected to buy me a head start. But just maybe it buys you something more useful, a lead. I'm offering you. Give me my life, and I'll hand you the coordinates. You go there, you find the people paying. You end this. It's what we in the business call a win-win situation.
For a long beat, the hangar holds its breath. Then, a small movement. Ray's fingers twitch. Oxiba's hand jerks to shield the data pad, and in the same instant, Ray's eyes harden. With a quick gesture, the pad is now in her hand.
Ben, do it. End him. He's too dangerous to be left alive.
Ben's saber hums louder. He leans in closer, close enough for Oxiba to feel the heat, close enough for him to hear Ben's breath, and for a second it looks like he will, because part of him wants to, because it would be easy, because after the arena, after the archive, after losing his hand, after watching Jaren go down because of this rat, it would feel right. His anger spikes, sharp and bright, but then he hears his Uncle Luke. A Jedi has to think before they act. The blade hovers at Oxiba's throat. Then, slowly, it dips.
No,
Axiba's breath finally comes out.
he's unarmed. He's not attacking us. And he just gave us the location of their base. And you? Get out of here before I change my mind.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
He eases himself back, hands raised very slowly, eyes on the still-ready circle of killers around him.
Pleasure doing business with you lot, truly. But I get the feeling that it's about time I made myself extremely scarce.
If you so much as whisper where we are.
Who, me? Snitch? Never. Never met you, don't know you, didn't see a thing. Spent all night clearing out a bazaar table.
He backs toward the ramp of his freighter, half bowed, half cringing. In an instant he turns at almost superhuman speeds, frantically raising the landing platform. The ship groans and sputters as he coaxes life back into just enough systems to limp, not jump. She won't break orbit without real work, but she'll fly. Axiba slips into the pilot's chair and flies away with his life. Silence settles, smoke hangs in the air. The stink of coolant and burned metal is everywhere. The five of them stand in the wreckage of the firefight, breathing hard. Jaren's sitting against a crate now, pale but conscious. Alana is back beside him, carefully finishing sealing his wound with a field patch. Her anger hasn't left her face. Finn wipes blood from his knuckles with the back of his wrist and turns to Ray.
So now what, my lady?
Ray holds the stolen data pad. Its screen still glows coordinates, access routes, coded notations from Axiba's insurance.
Now we know who's hunting us.
Then we end this before they send more.